Hey Podians, okay, so I am checking in today to do the Ravenflower's 17 questions. I have my list here, I have my drink here, let's get into it. So the first question is, when times get tough, do you fight or take flight? So the question is, do you fight or take flight? I think this is kind of an interesting question. It's not so black and white as like, oh, you're brave or you're a coward. I look at it a little bit differently because there are certain things that come up in life. There are certain times that will come up in your life where not saying something about something that's going on is sometimes the best way to handle something. You know, it just depends on what's going on. It depends on the situation. I can't tell you how many times where I decided not to say anything because it would cause a huge argument or a huge confrontation or a bunch of drama. And I have that tendency in my personality to avoid drama like the plague. It is one thing I just really do not care for as I've gotten older. I'm just like, nope, I'm done. There's this part of me that sometimes it's kind of like, it doesn't matter what I say, it's not going to change that person's opinion or outlook. You just get that feeling where you're talking to a brick wall or talking to a wall. Then you know it's time to check out and move on, you know? But there's also another side to my personality where if I get pushed so far or whatever, you know, that fighting persona will come out, you know, and I tend to be very patient, but if I hit that point where my fuse is lit, depending on what's going on, then it's game on. I mean, you know, I think this kind of applies to everybody, really. Also, I mean, I look at this question and I think of how we deal with people, but there's also, I'd like to throw this in there too. I don't think anyone's really thinking of it in this aspect, is that, you know, it says when things get tough. I'm like, I can't tell you how many times I've gone through some tough shit in my life. And there's a doggedness, a real like, let's get dirty, let's get in there and get this done and fight and, you know, tooth and claw, work hard, you know, and just get it done. Whereas a lot of other people would probably try to avoid whatever thing it is that's going on in life. So I'm like, it's kind of I think I'm a mad mix of both of them, to be honest, you know, because it just depends on what's going on, really. Okay, question number 2, something a little lighter here after that question. Number 2, is there a certain color you connect with? I think that's pretty obvious. The answer to the question there. Definitely blue. And I'm gonna elaborate on that because it's not just, you know, one certain color of blue. It's the whole spectrum of blues. I love a inky black blue, you know, like when the sun goes down and the sky's got that, it's not quite black, it's not quite dark, it has that really dark blue color. I love that. I love me some sky blue with white clouds. That's perfection. Here in Arizona, that's one thing that I love about this place is the wide open spaces and flatland. So, I mean, you really see the sky. I can't tell you how amazing the sunsets are. And sometimes the moonrises are just off the charts. Beautiful. So, yeah, definitely blue. You know, I really do love good turquoise blue, sparkly blue. I love a good in-your-face, bright cobalt blue. I'm just like, yes, give me all the blues. I will take them all and I will roll with them. Alright, so next question is, what is your sun, moon, and rising? Okay, so my sun is actually Virgo. Big surprise, right? Because I have a list. I'm organized. My moon is Taurus. And this one threw me for a loop. It really did. When I went to the website and I figured all this stuff out, I was really shocked at this part. My my ascending or rising sign is Aries. I was really blown away by that because I have a tendency, like, a lot of times the Aries that I meet in my life, I tend to not get along with them very well at all. So I was really, really shocked to find Aries in my chart, big time. My midheaven is actually Capricorn. So it's all a bunch of earth. And then somebody invited Aries to the party. Next one up, something you could change if you could. In this world, I mean, there's like a million things that I would love to change. Residing in the United States right now, there's a lot of things I'd like to change. But I'm not going to get into that right now. I'll say a couple of things that come to my mind right off the bat because I've been dealing with it in my life. So it's really fresh in my mind right now. So I'm going to say, I wish I could change the cool factor of Mean Girls. Since when did being a mean girl be the in thing or the right thing that everybody seems to be doing? And I just don't understand that mentality at all. It's just people are so, girls in general are just so mean to each other, and I'm like, it's like viciousness, you know, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's hardwired in our psyche, you know, it's like that competitive thing or something like that. But I just feel like nowadays with social media and stuff like that, that it's gotten to a whole different level of just mean girls running around out there, and I am so fucking sick and tired of it. I really am. The other thing that I will throw in there, because I see a lot of it running rampant around in my town, is the drama harpies. Seriously, the girls most of the time that fly and they look for that little tidbit, little scrap of just drama that they can just like grab onto and erupt it into something huge and cause a bunch of drama and a bunch of lying and a bunch of catfighting. And I'm like, I see it a lot in my town and I do not approve of it. And I also see it a lot on YouTube within the witchy community, which kind of really sucks. And I mean, I'll be honest, one of the reasons why I stayed away from this community for so long, and I kind of just like, alright, I'm just gonna saunter in here really slowly and see how things go, is because of some of the drama that I've seen floating around. And I'm just like, man, can we just be a little bit more supportive of each other and a little bit nicer to each other? I mean, really? That's something I would like to change. Okay, next question. Are you passing down your knowledge to the next generation? Well, you know, in a way, I guess YouTube is kind of an outlet for me to pass down my knowledge. My daughter, I don't really push anything on her. When I was growing up, my father never really pushed religion on us at all, really. You know, it was kind of there, but it was a light peppering of Catholic things here and there, and it was mostly through my grandmother for that. My dad was more he's probably more like an atheist, or you know, just somebody who really didn't go to church, but believed in God and probably prayed to him, but literally did not go to church every Sunday or anything like that. Okay, number 6, ancestor connections. Who's coming through? For me, it's probably going to be a lot of my grandmother, because my grandmother was basically like my mother. My mom was not in the picture. So my grandmother means a lot to me. And I actually have some plans to do an ancestor altar, but it's probably going to be more like an ancestor wall, because I have a wall and I want a bunch of family pictures on that wall, and I'm thinking about putting like a shelf there so I can put, you know, some of her favorite things that she loved. She loved hummingbirds a lot, and we get a lot of hummingbirds around here. They tend to move down this way during the summertime, or those in-between season shifts, usually spring, summer. Oh my god, there's so many hummingbirds down here. She loved roses, and I'm like, yes, so those little things, a lot of those little things, I look around in my house and I'm like, my god, how many bouquets of dried roses do I have? So I'm like, yeah, there's little touches here and there, and I'm like, I really miss her, you know? Okay, number 7. Do you prefer to do magic with others or by yourself? By myself. Is that the Virgo talking in me? I don't know. But if I was going to do it with other people, there would have to be an extreme level of trust, because I don't know what that other person is bringing to the table, you know? If they are hexing people left and right and binding people for breathing, etc., and all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, we're friends, let's do a spell together, you know, what if some of that gunk comes flying back at you and you had no idea what kind of spell work this person was doing on the side or whatever, you know? And I'm just, that really gives me the squeaks right there. I'm like, no, 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 no. You do you, I'm gonna do me over here or whatever, you know? Plus, where I live, I really don't think there's even a coven out this way, so I kind of just do my own thing, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't like to be put in a box. I don't, you know, what happens is I kind of want to do my own thing. And, you know, a lot of times when I see things about covens or read things about covens, it seems very strict and, you know, follow the rules and these are your guidelines and all that stuff. And I'm just like, that's not for me. I don't, you know, and I could change my mind, you know, later on down the line. I might actually come across a coven that's like, this isn't too bad. I dig this vibe or whatever. But right now, currently, I'm solitary and happy as a clam to be. Okay, so number 8. Do you feel there's only one type of meditation? No. Big no on that one. I think there's like a prism of meditations out there. Let me think. Things that I do. You get up in the morning, you jump in the shower, you take in a shower. You're like, sometimes I catch myself just standing there, letting the water run down, and just close my eyes and take a minute or two and just be like, wash all that negativity away. Wash all that bullshit away, that anger or resentment or stress levels, you know, whatever it is that I got going on in my life. And I'm just like, clean it away, you know. And if you just take a moment or two, that's you know, that's a little bit of like plugging into the meditation zone. And also my bathtub, I have a tendency on full moons to definitely get my butt in there and do a little cleansing ritual bath. And I love to sit in there and put on like sometimes it'll be music, or sometimes it'll be like a guided meditation. I love those. And sometimes a couple of things that I really love are like nature sounds, like bird noises or whatever. I'll put that on. There's also another one on YouTube. I think if you like search there, it's like campfire next to running water of a river. I'm like, I don't know why, but the water and the river and the nature sounds, it's like you're getting this sandwich, this parfait of all the elements together. And I'm like, that is a good one if you really stop and think about it. So I'm like, yeah, you can find that on YouTube really easy. But yes, I mean, there's like a million ways to meditate. I'm like, you know, even just putting your headphones on and tuning out, or going for a run or a walk. One of my favorite ways, you know, people love to beach comb. Well, around here, I desert comb, you know. So I'm like, that, even just getting out into nature, sitting there and, you know, in the quiet of a morning, you know, with your cup of coffee and just being quiet. Sometimes pulling out your journal and just writing about whatever's going on, just letting it flow. That's meditative to me. Coloring. Oh my God, can we talk about adult coloring books? Those I have. Oh, it's not right here. I have a mandala one, and I'm like, yes, that one is definitely, I can really tune, just like disconnect and tune out, and like, I seriously, you can feel your blood pressure drop. Paint. I love to paint, but I don't really do anything really seriously. It's just watercolors or whatever. But yeah, that's definitely, that'll get me into that, like, really, like, just, you know, mellow state. And also, my more really hardcore meditations where I really just like need to plug in, I will sit in front of my altar, you know. I mean, obviously I'm gonna sit in front of my altar, and sometimes I'm just quiet and I'm just staring at a candle. Sometimes I am, you know, doing a little bit of smudging, you know, with some Palo Santo or some white sage. Currently there's frankincense in my sensor burner thingamajig. So I'm like, yeah, you know, million ways, really. I can sit there and ramble about that question forever. I'm gonna cut myself off right there. So number 9, what's your favorite flower and why? I really dig hibiscus flowers. You know, a lot of witches have the dried ones in their cabinets or whatever, but when, you know, the actual live hibiscus flowers, they're so big and beautiful and tropical. They're just gorgeous. And I mean, they come in all kinds of different colors. I love that. I think I was in a Home Depot the other day, and they had one that was called, like, I don't know, giant hibiscus flowers. I kid you not, that thing was as big as my head. One big old red flower. It was just like, oh. And I would have them here at my house if they would actually live. Nothing lives out here other than cactuses and oleanders. An occasional palm tree. That's about it. Oh, and weeds. Let's see. Ooh, gardenias. That's on the list too. Why? The smell, man. They smell so good. And that white, crisp contrast against the green bush, the dark, dark green foliage. Just, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And then bird of paradise. We have quite a lot of those around here. My eye has just been completely attracted to them here lately, and which kind of blows me out of the water because red and orange is not really my color vibe or whatever. But I have a strong desire to try to get one of those in my backyard, because the ones that I see out and about are doing just fine, and they're throwing up so many flowers it's not even funny. And I'm like, I think I can pull that one off. So I'm gonna try him. Another one was Vitex. It's V-I-T-E-X. It's the chasteberry tree, shrub, bush, or whatever. This one I found at a park down by the river, and I actually have some video footage recorded of that outing that will probably go up sooner or later. And there is a wildlife type of sanctuary mixed in with a lot of like bushes and shrubs and flowers and trees and stuff like that. It's really cool because they actually have like placards out telling you what the tree is or whatever. And I happened upon this tree, this Vidix, I think it's Vidix, I'll just say that. And I happened upon this tree and I'm like, for a minute there, I did a double take because I thought it was lavender. And let me tell you, this tree was just huge. It's more like a shrubby little bush tree. It was huge. It was lush. It was covered in these purple flowers. You know how lavender looks. It has those little tuft things. It was covered in those, just like that. But I'm like and when I smushed it, it kind of does smell like lavender, but I would call it more of a peppery lavender. It's kind of different. So I'm like, yeah, I'm really digging that. And I did harvest some and I brought some back home to add to my collection to use. And I started looking up the metaphysical properties on it and stuff like that. And I'm like, unbeknownst to me, that was a really cool little flower plant. So number 10, have you tried a new form of divination this year? No, not really. My tarot cards are there. I do have a coin that I will occasionally flip when I need like a yes-no answer because it's fast. I'd really dig getting a hold of one of those pendulums for sure. It's kind of on my list of things I would like to try, but right now I feel like with all the witchy stuff that I have, I feel very much like maximized right now, and I'm like, let's work with what we got for a while. And number 11, what's your favorite way to connect to the elements? Well, you know, going outside, seriously. And I'm pretty sure everybody's probably answering that question the same way and saying going outside. But I'm going to throw this in there. You know, Arizona right now, we are pushing triple digits. It's, it will hit, you know, it gets up into like 120, you know, it gets really freaking hot. It's a dry heat most of the time around here. So, you really don't get that much time outside. You're literally going from one air-conditioned building to another, or you burst into flames. So, you know, sometimes early morning or sometimes in the evening is the only times that we can actually get outside and, you know, stick your feet in the sand. Or sometimes I will just go and sit outside as the sun's setting because it's a little less hot, a little less intense, and I'll watch the bats come in. You know, as the sun's going down, they start coming in from the little mountain range that's pretty close to my house, and I'm like, they'll start flying in, and I'm like, you know, you can kind of feel the element of air there, and you definitely, the last little bit of sun, so you got a little bit of fire there, and just taking off my shoes and getting my feet into the ground, that is like perfection to me. When it's cooler, obviously I get my ass outside as much as I can. I love to rock hound. I love to look for rocks. Blessed that Arizona is such a mecca or a magnet of just amazing rocks. It doesn't, I can go walking in the most random places and freaking happen upon things. It's just, it blows my mind a lot. And so I love to do that. Another thing I love to do is to get my, there are a few places where I really love to hang out. There's one over here by the mountains that I love to go and search for rocks there. If I can't get there, my other absolute favorite place is down by the Colorado River, and it's just so beautiful down there. You know, you get next to the water, yeah, it's gonna be a little green, so getting a little bit of greenery in my soul feels good. And you know, if it's not too hot, then you get out there and take your shoes off, put your feet in the water, and you know, wash away some of the bad vibes, that kind of thing. I really love to do that, but that's not gonna happen for a few months, not probably until November-ish, towards the end of October maybe. Yeah, it does not cool off until about then. And then you will probably see a lot of outdoor videos from me. Okay, number 12, tea or coffee? Ooh, insert cup, drink. For this question, I'm going to choose caffeine. Seriously though, as a mom, caffeine is your friend. No, I'm just kidding. For me it is, for sure. Sometimes it's the only way I can get through the day, I swear. My daughter, you know, sometimes she wakes up really early in the morning. I gotta start my morning off with a cup of coffee. It's at least 1 cup of coffee or else I'm like a bear. It's real. I love coffee. I try to limit myself to, you know, the 1 cup in the morning. Sometimes on my day off, or if I feel particularly tired, I will dip into a 2nd cup, but I rarely finish it because it kind of makes me really jittery and shaky, and I'm like, it's not gonna work. It's not a feeling I really like there. Tea, I have a tendency to drink a lot more of during the winter time. The winter time is when I really hit the tea. Because I love hot tea in the wintertime. It's just so good. But right now, when it's like friggin' 120, yeah, no. I do love like green tea. Give me a cup of ice with a bunch of, you know, ice cubes in there and some green tea. I'm down. Like a peach tea. I actually really love the Arizona teas that you see popping around everywhere. Those are really good too. So this kind of a mad combination of both on that one. But I really do, I love coffee, but I kind of have to not drink too much of it. And I'm going to throw in Coke. You know, it's a really bad answer to insert into this question, but if I'm going to be truthful, I drink a lot of Coke. Probably more than what I should. So, number 13. Do you come from a witchy family? No, I do not. Do you feel bloodline is important, or does it matter? To me, since I don't come from a witchy family, I'm going to say no, I really don't feel that it's important. You know, I'm also going to add, there are, just because my family does it or doesn't do it doesn't mean that I have to do it or not do it. You know, I'm my own person. I can choose what I want to do, right? Freedom of choice here, freedom of religion, spirituality here. So, I suppose if it's important to you that, you know, it's coming, you're 3rd generation witch, and you can run around and be all, I'm 3rd generation witch. You know, everything that my mom learned, she passed down to me, and everything that my mom knew, her grandmother knew. I think that's freaking awesome. 3 of your favorite YouTube channels. Lucky enough, I feel like the same people are going to be listed every time this question is answered. I'm sorry, you can hear my bird. He's in there chatting too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a wild card. I'm going to give you somebody who is fairly new. And I just happened upon her, so I'm going to share her with you because I'm really digging the work that she's doing. She has a very sweet vibe. So I'm just going to share this with you off of my phone. This is EMWITCH. And she's got a few videos on there that you can check out. I'll probably put a link to her channel down below, so it'll be easy to find her. Okay, number 15. What is your favorite witchy book? Alright, my book happened to be on my bed, so I just grabbed it. So my answer is this one right now. I love them all, but this one, I can't seem to put it down. It's Rodell's Illustrated Encyclopedia of Herbs. And you know, it's probably out of print. You might be able to Amazon it and find it. But I'm pretty sure she might be a hard one. Oh, look at here, the 80s. Copyright 1987. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it might be a hard one to find. But check it out. This book is it's such a gem. And you know what? I found it at the Goodwill for $2.99. So yeah, this it's kind of like got a little bit of everything in here, which I really dig. Most of the illustrations are, you know, you get like a black and white picture of it, and there's quite a few of like color pictures in there. It's all herbs, 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 hedge witching up to your eyeballs. But it's full of stuff. It's not really geared more towards like metaphysical stuff very much, but I have a tendency of cross-referencing. You know, I will look up what metaphysical properties, you know, an herb will have. Oh, look at this. This is beautiful. And then I'll cross-reference it in this book. And sometimes, you know, I'll have something like Vidics. You know, I didn't find it, obviously. I couldn't find it in my Cunningham book. Didn't even exist in that book. So I was like, Google is your friend. But then I went into here and, you know, found some stuff on chasteberry, which is, it's also known as. So I'm like, this book is, I dig it. I really, really dig it. And to my surprise, I have not been able to put it down for about a good solid month. You know, I will just pick it up and flip through it, read pieces here and there. It is really hard for me to read a lot of the times because my daughter, you know, she's 4 years old, so she constantly wants my attention. But yeah, I'm really digging this book, and I'm so glad. I just kind of picked it up and I started flipping through it, and I was like, my God, I need this in my life. But yeah, look at this illustration there with mortar and pestle on all the bottles and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, looks like my bedroom. But yeah, this one, if you can find it on the Amazon, probably used, it'll probably be pretty cheap, but I really dig it. It's such a cool book. So yeah, I like to, I will cross-reference, you know, I will use metaphysical books and actual healing and medical books between both of the herby stuff, you know, and I'll jump back and forth between them or whatever when I have questions or I'm trying to think of what to work with for a certain spell or something like that. An herb you haven't worked with yet. I'm probably going to say belladonna. I don't have any. Don't have any. Out of all the damn herbs that I have, I don't have that one. Yeah. So, and I think that's probably a generic answer that everybody's gonna say. But yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna stick right there. 17. What are your goals for the next year? Can I seriously have a moment of nothing breaking? This year has been the year of repairs. And I am so, it's just one thing after another after another. And I'm talking like the car or things in the house. And it's just like, God, I'm so over it. Literally the other day I spent about $300 to fix my thermostat so the air conditioner would come on properly. I think it was in my last video, I was sweating so bad, and that's when I was like, you know what, there's a problem with the air conditioner. But yeah, seriously, that right there, can we just have a halt in the repairing of household items for a while there? That would be nice for next year. Because 2017 has been like the repair year. And I'm tired of it. Spiritually speaking, the word of the year for me was tranquility. I could really use a little bit more of that. And now that my daughter is officially starting preschool, she's only going to be going 2 days a week, but it's 2 full long days. And I've kind of asked my boss, you know, like, give me those days off or let me come in late because I need time to get things done, man. That is one thing if I could have for next year is just time to get a handle on everything, because it's just me and my daughter in my household, you know, and I do everything. I run the household, I clean, I cook, I do the laundry, I pay them bills, I work full-time job, and it's pretty hard sometimes. So yeah, if there could be a little bit more time in the upcoming year, I'd really appreciate that for sure. And I mean, just watching my daughter grow, trying to be happy, you know, where I can. Oh my God, I'm dying to get my dad to come down and visit me. Hopefully that'll happen sometime around in October, November. So, I mean, it's not quite next year, but yeah, we'll say for the year, yeah, to get a little bit more family time in there, because as much as I love Arizona, I'm literally the only person of my family that is living in Arizona. So there's that kind of like, you know, disconnection thing a little bit there. So I'm like, yeah, I really want to spend some time with my dad. And I'm like, you know, you have all your friends and your friends that become your family and stuff like that. But I'm like, yeah, I need some time with my dad for sure. So yeah, things to stop breaking. A little bit more time and definitely some family time in there. That would be great for the upcoming year. So I'm just gonna wrap this up before I keep rambling on. And I'm gonna say, go outside and find the moon, guys. See you next time.